Britney Spears is facing a driving under the influence charge after a late-night stop on the 101 freeway in Ventura County. Police say her black BMW was pulled over near Newbury Park after reports of erratic driving and missing rear lights. Officers conducted field sobriety tests, which she did not pass. She was arrested at the scene and released from custody early the next morning, around 6 a.m. Authorities noted that her blood alcohol level was relatively low and no accident occurred. Prosecutors have since filed formal charges and proposed a standard plea deal, including probation and mandatory education programs. Shortly after the arrest, Spears voluntarily entered a rehabilitation facility for treatment. Her court date is set for May 4th, though she is not required to appear in person as the legal process moves forward. A new analysis reveals a growing pattern in New York City's housing market. Between 2021 and 2025, nearly 10,000 homes were rapidly resold, often by investors targeting financially vulnerable homeowners. Properties were purchased for an average of $470,000 and resold for around $770,000, creating a markup of 64%. This activity is heavily concentrated in neighborhoods where nearly half the population is black, including parts of Brooklyn, Queens, and the Bronx. In Jamaica, Queens, nearly 1 in 3 homes has been flipped, far above the city average. Lawmakers warn that these practices are accelerating housing pressure and reducing long-term affordability. A proposed law could introduce taxes of up to 65% on properties resold within 2 years, aiming to slow speculative activity. Real estate groups argue the strategy remains legal and part of normal market dynamics, while researchers caution that the long-term impact could reshape entire communities. A major shift in global trade is unfolding as the United States moves to impose a 25% tariff on all cars and trucks imported from the European Union. The decision follows claims that the EU has not fully complied with a previously agreed trade deal. The new tariff is expected to significantly raise the cost of European vehicles entering the U.S. market, reshaping competition and pricing across the auto industry. At the same time, the policy draws a clear line. Vehicles manufactured in the United States will face zero tariffs. This approach is designed to accelerate domestic production and attract long-term investment. More than $100 billion is already being directed into new American auto plants, marking one of the largest manufacturing expansions in the sector's history. These factories are expected to open soon, bringing new jobs and reinforcing the push toward local production. The move signals a decisive step toward prioritizing U.S. industry while intensifying economic pressure on European exporters. President Donald Trump has informed Congress that active hostilities with Iran have come to an end. According to officials, there have been no exchanges of strikes since April 7th, signaling a pause in direct fighting. The conflict began on February 28th. Just days later, on March 2nd, the administration formally notified Congress under the War Powers Resolution of 1973. That law requires the president to secure approval within 60 days or end military operations. The White House now argues that an early April ceasefire effectively stopped that countdown since combat operations were halted. Despite the pause, the United States continues to maintain a strong military presence in the region. More than 50,000 troops remain deployed, and a naval blockade of Iranian ports is still in place. The situation raises key questions about whether this marks a lasting end to the conflict or a temporary pause under sustained strategic pressure.
Proposal, please.
So they want to make a deal, but I'm not satisfied with it, so we'll see what happens. Iran wants to make a deal because they have no military left, essentially, and they want to make a deal, but I'm not satisfied with it.